So what does adolescence mean to you as a sort of developmental period?
This is a kind of contested notion. There isn't like a fixed definition. Adolescence is a period of our life development. It's a part of our life course. And there's a biological aspect to it. You know, we've got the hugely important marker of puberty, of course, but it's also a social life phase as well. And that means that it's variable across different social and cultural contexts. So if you're to look in one country versus another country, maybe even within one country, you look at different subcultural groups, you'll actually see differences as well, because different things are happening in the social lives of young people. Broadly speaking, as I said, we can map it onto the onset of puberty, but there's so much more going on. The other thing I'd bring up about this is that it's also something that might change historically within a culture as well, because it is a social construction to some extent. Actually understanding what adolescence is, what it means, what's happening during adolescence is inevitably going to be different over the course of history. And I think there's some really interesting questions to ask about what is adolescence like now compared to what it used to be. You know, I'm a psychologist, as you pointed out, and I think quite often we're quite bad at history. We tend to think about what we're doing in the here and now. And I think it's really important to take that interdisciplinary perspective and really think about social life phase with a range of different biological processes taking place. Very much we can think of it as being a transition from childhood towards a kind of emerging adulthood as well.
That's great. That's really, really interesting. I mean, I just want to pick up on one of your points about sort of, you're talking about how there's been sort of historical changes, and whether you can sort of pick up that point a little bit more around sort of what recent changes we've seen in this period in terms of, I guess, sort of the pressures and challenges and opportunities faced.
The standard things people will be talking about now are like social media and body image and mental health pressures, and of course society structures as well, like what are the opportunities available to young people in terms of their educational development, in terms of jobs, in terms of owning property. All of those kinds of things change historically as well, and young people are living through that at this very moment. I think one of the things to bear in mind is that we're still learning about adolescence. If you look at developmental psychology research over the kind of last 100 years, adolescence hasn't received all that much attention throughout that time. And we're still learning a lot now in the last sort of 20 or 30 years, still learning so much about this period of time. We found in our research most recently that it's actually the combination of self-efficacy and also positive best friendships, positive peer relationships. Those two things combined together predicted resilience, predicted well-being, specifically among young people who are in the care system. It's not different to anybody else. Those things really matter. The relationships really matter. The feelings about themselves really matter. And those in turn are going to be undoubtedly shaped by the environment that they find themselves in.